Sorry for that. Needed to fix the light. Okay, let's navigate this one for the moment, and I'll be sure to share what's going on. So let's have a look. Shopping center. Oh, there's so many. Okay, that's old though. We want. Let's have a look and just see how this mic's looking after I've repositioned it. Okay. Residential. I think for the sake of this evening's video, okay. Oh, look at that. Another renaming. Honestly, I get why they want to do that, but surely the funds and the effort in doing that can be deployed in better areas of the fiscal and the fiscus. Seriously. Okay. Unlawful disconnection of municipal services and extortion of money. Interesting. Okay, so let's maybe see if that takes us through. Oh, look at that. Market here. Okay. Well, look, I mean, first-time home buyers tap into personal savings for deposits during Q4 of 2024. Surely that's what savings are for. It just has. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's read the article before I laugh. And I'm not one of those that kind of sums up the whole story by looking at the headline. Look at there. In my other video, I spoke about it. I mentioned it. Limpopo outpaces the Western Cape in residential rental growth. That's amazing. That's so cool. Okay, middle to high priced housing market records shorter selling times and increased activity. That's interesting. That's really cool. This is great, but it doesn't excite me. Report highlights multifamily sector as a formidable asset class for the institutional real estate investors. Okay, so what does that mean? There are publicly listed real estate investment or index trusts, investment trusts that are trading on the JSE. So, like the Spear REIT, Growth Point, Redefine, all of them. And what this is saying is that those funds, those companies should look at buying multifamily apartment blocks. And it's great if you own shares in those REITs. But what it doesn't excite me is then it takes away, it's kind of like the whole BlackRock thing in America where they take away investment opportunities of regular South Africans. I mean, just now you spend time learning off my channel and other channels as a potential investor how to actually start investing in private property to build a cash flowing asset and also an equitable asset class. Two different investment strategies, by the way, but to just try and build wealth. I mean, I'm going to go on that journey, and if that happens, you're going to find that these institutional investors are going to buy up blocks, and they're going to kind of push out the private investors. Everything is a double-edged sword. Everything is a double-edged sword. It can cut both ways. I'm not going to read that. I don't want to be on the down. I want this to be a nice, passionate live stream. State agents anticipate reaching volume and higher targets in 2025. That sentiment is still very much there. It is. Home buyers' interest increases, but market forces weigh down property values. That's more than land areas. High net worth individuals flock to Pretoria East residential estates. That could make an interesting read. I think I opened up one here, and this is dealing with the first-time home buyer. So if we've got any first-time home buyers, let me check. I don't think nope, my live stream is empty, but someone could end up watching this after it's streamed. So let's have a look here. Home buyers tap into personal savings for deposits during the last quarter, Q4 of 2024. Okay, it is on the Property Wheel website, published on the 27th of Feb 2025 by Property Wheel. It's a 1-minute read. So it says here, the rising presence of first-time home buyers and buy-to-let investors in lower price segments of the property market underscores strong affordability-driven demand, according to FNB. Property practitioners highlighted notable shifts in first-time home buying behavior, reduced reliance on unsecured credit for deposits, meaning they're not using credit cards and personal loans and whatever. Using personal savings driven by improving household finances and the early impact of the two-pot retirement system. That's going to be an interesting article later in the year. There's already articles and warnings from the likes of Alan Gray and stuff like that, warning people about this two-pot retirement, taking out of that. That'll be an interesting read a couple months down the road. Okay, according to the FNB Estate Agent Survey, the percentage of first-time home buyers rose to 25% of the total market, with a 39% share in the affordable housing segment, despite participation remaining low. It also highlights an increase in buy-to-let purchase from 8 to 12% of the market activity, driven predominantly by the affordable segment, where 30% of purchases are now for investment purposes. And that goes to what I was saying in my other video, cash flow. If you do that, cash flow. But if that's the case, like I said over here, what's going to happen? Interesting. So this is why, as property professionals, we got to look at things like this to understand what's happening in the market. Because when we do engage with our clients, they're going to read a piece of like this, and they're going to want to text. And us as property professionals are able to give that context. And note I say property professionals that are worth their weight in gold. They don't just clock in and then on a Monday to Sunday just on watching TV and doing nothing. I mean, it's a Saturday evening, 9 o'clock, I'm sitting doing this stream. Yes, I have a family, and yes, I love them and I love spending time with them, but at the moment they're in Joburg, I'm in Cape Town, and nothing better to do. And I enjoy doing this. Sue me. Sue me, sue me. It doesn't look like the Property Wheel has anything. Maybe Business Tech. I was there earlier. Interesting ads they've got on the website. There was something that I saw here earlier that I wanted to... Yeah, this one. Let's actually open that in a new tab. Okay, I'm going to close the Property Wheel. I didn't like the stories there. So it's the Property Wheel. This one was published when... Also, Malcolm Libera, 26th of Feb 2025, so recently. New record for the average rent paid in South Africa. For the first time ever, the average rent in South Africa is over 9,000 Rand. Yep, just like I said, thanks to lower inflation and higher demand. Pay props. Okay, so in my other video, I spoke about the sources, and they've definitely got the same source with PayProp. I get my data from them as well in terms of the rental index. So that's how I knew about Limpopo. And yeah, so I can kind of talk to this, but I don't know all the stats because, I don't trade in all the provinces. I just watch Gauteng and the Western Cape. Rental growth had been sluggish for most of 2024, with a low 3.8% in the first quarter, sparking concerns and that it leveled off. However, the situation improved throughout the year as inflation declined, bolstering tenant affordability. Yes, that's great, but from what I've seen, is inflation is starting to swing back up, and I hope the interest rates should come down again, but we'll see what the monetary policy committee does about that. Paper noted landlords and agents who've been cautious about raising rents due to the economic uncertainty following the pandemic were now more confident in increasing rental prices. Yes, and we in the Cape Town market, and we get a lot of hate for it. So, in the rental market in the Atlantic Seaboard and City Bowl, we do see a lot of locals as well. Okay, just putting it out there. Locals complain about the prices, but it's demand. It's demand, basic demand. Limited supply, massive demand creates a rarity. And if things are in short supply due to demand, the prices increase. So, so what I was saying is between 9 and 10% every quarter since 2024, the year-on-year growth for rental in the Western Cape has been between 9 and 10% year-on-year. So that means that the rentals are, if you take the entire year, average out about 9.2, 9.3% in better performance than the year before. So it means that escalations are sitting between 9 and 10% in rental growth. Hopefully it can continue on that trend, but the bubble's got to burst somewhere. It's actually saw this in the 2014 and 15 market in the parks of Johannesburg. It was a massive bubble, pricing bubble driven by demand, and I think it's because of Rosebank. And I think this mandatory call back to work by the corporates is going to pull a lot of people back into Rosebank, and it's going to reignite that bubble in the parks in Johannesburg. This is a very interesting year, but as the average South African, there's a lot happening. There's a lot happening on the political front, which is causing quite a bit of concern. I'm not going to touch the politics. Provincial breakdown. There we go. Look, Western Cape average rent soared to 11 quarter exceeding 11,000 rand for the first time. A year-on-year increase of 1,000 rand, highlighting the provincial exceptional rental performance. PayProp notes that Western Cape has always been known for its high rental prices. Despite the high costs, healthier arrears figures indicate that tenants in the province are managing to keep up with payments. Don't let that fool you. Hey? It might just be that they're prioritizing that at the cost of other stuff. Anyway, these are stats. We work with these stats. Northern Cape maintains its position, the second highest average rent. Gap between the Northern Cape and the Western Cape continues to widen. Gauteng remains in third place with average rental of 9,169 rand. A year-on-year increase of 305 rand. Limpopo experienced significant growth. Average rent, rising to 8,797 year-on-year. It's an 878 rand increase. That's a clear winner. Kind of makes you wonder if there's any forums where you can bet on the market. Let's look at this. Big shift where South Africans are looking to buy property. This will be an interesting one. Also, Malcolm Libero, are you posting all these articles on the same day? 26th Feb 2025, big shift in where South Africans are looking to buy. Okay, there's been a significant shift in where South Africans are looking to buy property, with a notable increase in demand for estate living, particularly among wealthy buyers and retirees. Several property experts, estates have become the preferred choice for security, community, and lifestyle amenities. No brainer there. Paul Stevens from Just Property said security estates and sectional title properties are becoming more popular due to safety concerns and affordability. With that in mind, I released a short today which talks about levies. First-time home buyers that are looking in complexes, estates, apartment buildings, or any sectional title development, bear in mind that there are levies that you'll have to factor into your budgeting as well. Have a look for that short. Developers are focusing heavily on gated communities. Great. If anyone heard that, my cat just vomited. I'm going to have to clean that up. Developers are focusing. Okay, he predicts that this trend will continue to grow, but yeah, security remains paramount. That's the shift towards sectional title gaining momentum. Yeah, luxury market remains robust in the Western Cape. Yes, it is. KwaZulu-Natal and Northern Cape. Also, Gauteng. Stephen said cash buyers in this bracket are less sensitive to interest rate fluctuations. Segment is resilient, continues to perform well, driven by local and international demand. Giovanni, I want to say that name wrong. CEO of Real Estate Services highlights that 60% of retirees and affluent buyers are purchasing properties within their local areas. Downscaling from family homes to more manageable lock-up and go properties. Yeah. Life right estates such as Evergreen, the Somerset and Helderberg Village are particularly popular among retirees. Strand is also growing. 274,500 property transactions occurred in 2024, with 16% of these taking place within estates. Average price paid for estate properties was 2.4 million, indicating the growing appeal and value of these developments. Simbali Lakes, Golf Estate, Polito, KZN. It's actually a beautiful estate, that. Cape Winelands, KZN North Coast, buyers are paying between 5 to 20 million or more for high-end estate properties. Samuel Seif, chairman of the Seif Property Group, said that many wealthy buyers and retirees are drawn to lifestyle estates because they provide independent living among like-minded people and the added convenience of on-site facilities. Seif highlighted that certain areas are definitely favored and experiencing rapid growth in estate popularity. Along the coast, places like Azefontein, Langebang, Paternoster, Hermanus, and Gansbaai are attracting retirees and wealthy buyers looking for a relaxed, community-focused lifestyle. Garden Route, particularly George, Mossel Bay, Knysna, and Plettenberg Bay, is favoured for its mild climate and excellent infrastructure and the scenic beauty. In the Winelands region, Paarl, Franschhoek, Stellenbosch, and Somerset West are highly sought after for their luxurious estates in proximity to Cape Town. Gauteng, the demand for estate living is booming in Pretoria East and Centurion. And Gerard van der Linde, Managing Director of Seif Pretoria East, notes that prices in the Pretoria East estates range from 5 to 18 million, with 3 to 5 million price band being the most popular. And then we've got Tian Pretorius from Seif Centurion. Lifestyle and golf estates in Centurion are drawing buyers in the 3 to 4.5 million range, attributed to the growing desire for secure, well-managed communities that offer various lifestyle amenities. So there's a clear asset class here, lifestyle estates. And it's been a growing trend forever. It really has. What else did I see here that I wanted to... Can enjoy a stable retirement. If I was a financial advisor, I'd talk about that. I'd talk to that. Look at that, still an empty chat. But we don't do it for the chat. We do it for the content. We're in the property section, so I don't think anything happened there. I wonder, did it even share while I was reading that? So I think I'm going to have to look back at the video. Still getting to grips with how this live stream works. So while I'm on here, I'm actually going to go onto my YouTube studio and going to draw some inspiration about what we should talk about. No, I don't want it. Okay, let's go dashboard. Ideas that I saved. Building your real estate network in 2025. Real estate agents tech toolkit. Hidden costs of buying your first home. First home buying mistakes to avoid. No. What I did end up doing. Let's share my screen again. Window. Share. This. Okay. I prepped this sheet over here as an example. Right. And what I was trying to do is just to create a scenario where I wanted to talk about anyone who owns a property, right? And you've had it for a couple of years, maybe between 5 and 10 years. You would have created a bit of equity in your home. Now, hopefully, you guys were clever enough and had an access facility on your bond. Not many people know about it. Not many people have opted for it, and it's okay. I didn't mean to offend you if I said hopefully you were clever enough, but hopefully you were clever enough for the sake of this example. So let's just look over here. Let's say you bought this property 10 years ago for 1.5 million rand, right? Maybe, and let's just say that the balance on your bond is 900,000 rand. You've got a balance outstanding of 900,000 rand. That means that you have equity of 600,000 rand. Now, bear in mind, I didn't factor in the new valuation, right? If this property was to be evaluated in today's money, it's probably maybe worth 1.8, maybe 2 million. Who knows, depending on the area or whatever it is. So then the equity is actually a lot more that you can actually tap into your property. And I think if you're trying to access money, I think that the loan to value, which means the amount that you're allowed to take out of your property or loan, is probably about 70% of the value. So maybe this is pretty much on par with what kind of equity you can tap into, right? So your current repayment is 10,229 Rand a month on your current bond. Equity available or a facility available of 600,000 Rand. Now, what you could do is tap into that equity, withdraw it from your bond, and lump sum that into a retirement annuity or into the S&P and diversify it. Maybe you want to buy a couple Kruger Rands, hold it in a vault for like 100,000 Rand and just diversify that 600,000 out of your property while you're still paying down your bond. Okay, so we're not going to touch on these 3 points here. Let's just say you come across in a mid to low income area, which means that it's desirable, but at the same time, it has a few problems. And you come across and I think what I pulled here for this example was a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment in Horizon View in Gauteng. So there's one that I can do a comparable of the rental of the same kind of property, right? So the asking price is 699,000, right? You would probably want to discount that purchase down to a purchase, and if you're lucky to get it down to like 600,000 Rand, that's maybe a little bit more realistic, but even then, sellers might not always be desperate. But for the sake of this example, say they agree to sell it to you for 600,000 Rand. You pull a 250,000 Rand deposit from this equity, which means that you're going to bond this property for 350,000 Rand. With that in mind, you end up having a bond repayment on this property for 3,333 Rand. Now, don't quote me to the Rand. I've used online calculators to get this. I did this in a bit of a rush, so there might be a little bit of a few inaccuracies. This property could rent between 7 and 8,000 Rand a month. So assuming the top band, 8,000 Rand a month. The rates and taxes for this property are 483 Rand a month. The insurance is about 689. And the levies are about 1,450, a little bit on the top side, but mm, I like to see that. That's about the average. So if we take the rent, subtract the rates, subtract the insurance, subtract the levies, it gives us a net rental of 5,378 Rand. Let that net cash flow pay for the repayment on the bond, or a net rental pay for the repayment of the bond over here. It gives us positive cash flow of 2,044 Rand. Okay. Now you'll notice that this is the same color as this block up here. Why? Because if you're going to take that 250,000 Rand out of your equity, right, you're going to have a new bond repayment from this to this, 11,870, which means your bond has increased by 1,641 Rand with a newer bond amount of 1,150,000 Rand. You didn't even use the full facility. You can, and maybe I'll do another example where we do use the whole facility. But for the sake of this example, here, look at the cash flow after this bond over here, right? Boom. So you still got to pay this bond. It's a separate bond. And you've got to have to pay a new installment on this bond here. So the positive cash flow, either you absorb this new bond repayment with your personal budget, with your household income, or you use the positive cash flow on this single property to square off this deposit over here. So boom, are you really out of pocket? Yeah, technically, you're tapping into the equity in your home. So, like the likes of Dave Ramsey and all of them telling you to avoid debt. Yes, avoid bad debt. Avoid like your credit cards and spending things, using credit cards to buy stupid purchases. But if you can use debt in a very positive way and leverage it to build asset classes, positively cash flowing asset classes, then I'm all for creating the debt. And you can see here that this person or this example, this was a very conservative approach. This was a very conservative approach. If he really wanted, he could have actually basically used this bond or this facility to bond this entire property over here, and he would have had a different cash flow scenario. So maybe I'm going to change that up and do another live example on what happens, what to do over here. But this is my example. This is what I wanted to talk about and educate you guys on. And it's not so much to reveal a secret source. It's just to unlock a way of thinking. It's a way to unlock your ability to spot an opportunity. And I can understand if you're going to end up watching this and you're in your early 20s, you don't know about these things. And if you're in your 30s and 40s and you're like, why has no one spoken about this? This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And estate agents, I'm talking to you as well. There's going to come a point in time where you are going to start generating quite a decent living, middle income living, or whatever the case may be. You're going to have to do something. You're going to have to create a savings plan, and you're going to have to think about your retirement. You're not going to be able to sell homes or rent homes or do this forever. So it's good for you to kind of know how to do this as well. Number one, you can advise your clients better. And number two, you could also deploy this in your personal capacity and just start building a little bit of cash flow, a little bit of an asset class, and an asset base, an investment base for you to just think about the long term. I know I am. And I can't wait till the day comes where I can do it and then show you guys the process from start to finish. Okay, so I've been ranting for 29 minutes. Guys, I think it's time to say goodbye. No one joined us today. Boo. But if you're watching this after the fact, thank you for joining. Please leave a like, a comment, maybe even just subscribe to the channel if you found any value here. It would mean the world to me. Thank you so much, guys. Take care.